We begin tonight with a live look at I-90 in Mena right now. If you look really closely there, you do see some snow falling.
Now remember, that is just a snapshot of one very small part of the picture. We do have more snow that is going to be coming in overnight, and that is going to make a very big difference in the morning commute.
All right, good evening and thanks for joining us. Ms. Kling, let's get right to it.
Yes, we have quite a night that is coming together for us, and we've talked about it to you for a few days now. Lake snow warnings are ongoing. Cuyahoga, Lake Geauga, and Ashtabula counties, Lorain County, Summit County, Portage, and Trumbull have a winter weather advisory. Basically, in the lake snow warning area, specifically eastern Cuyahoga County and points east, the primary snow belt will have the highest snow amounts by Wednesday. And the winter weather advisory areas will have impactful snow amounts, but it's not expected to be as bad. Here is the setup, friends. We have more lake snow that is coming in now. We have a few different bands that have now established. If you're just joining us since 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock earlier this evening, we have new bands that have been forming, but we are still waiting on this. This is kind of the difference maker, and as it drops in over the lake, it is expected to really fire up in intensity and then drop a widespread amount of snow across the entirety of the lakeshore area. A couple cameras out there. This is I-90 at the Ashtabula County line. It has looked like this for about the past hour and a half. These huge snowflakes coming down, and they are coming down quite hot and heavy. You can see the roads here every now and then. Once the snowflakes get out of the way, the roads are snow covered. This again is I-90, the main pavement there. Farther to the west, I-90 at State Route 2. This is of course just over the Lake County line, and you can see we still have grass, but there is some snow in the berms, and this is expected to become a little more wintry looking by the time the morning commute gets going tomorrow. And just south of there, like we're just talking a couple miles. This is not a big distance at all, but look how much more snow is on the road at White Road at 271 than was just farther north. So this is where a band was earlier this evening, dropped about an inch of snow or so, but again, nothing that is really impeding traffic yet. The problem is we are waiting on this band to come in, and again, as it comes in, it should intensify quite a bit over Lake Erie and drop in, which means not only will it be east, but it will also be west, which should be kind of interesting. This is I-90 at Columbia Road out toward the Bay Village area, and you can see smooth sailing. It's like a whole different country, basically, with just some wet roads and a lot of green grass so far. We are expecting that snow cover to come in. The difference maker is out here in southern Michigan. It's coming in on some northwesterly winds that are bringing a reinforcing shot of cold air. So right on the edge of that cold air, we have this really intense band that's coming in off of Lake Michigan. So we're going to get the energy and the moisture off of Lake Michigan. It's being carried all the way across the state of Michigan, which is a pretty big deal. That kind of shows you the intensity that this thing has. And then as it comes in, it will start to pick up moisture off of Lake Erie and feed right in. The timing of this is everything, because just about the time that thing settles down over the lakeshore areas, and again, it'll be widespread west to east, that is when we are just starting with our morning commute. And the temperatures are still cooling tonight, so we are expecting the snow to accumulate. Farther north, you can see a northwest wind. That's always a harbinger of what's to come. The upper lakes, that will greet us tomorrow afternoon. So once we get through that main band in the morning, I think it will improve by the time the afternoon gets around. Here is your snowfall timing and intensity. We are not worried about right now. It is once we pass midnight and get into the early morning, that's when our intense snowfall is expected to come down with that band. South of, let's say, the Turnpike, south of 480, south of 76 and 224 for sure, you folks don't have any problems. This is specific to the lakeshore areas. And then once we hit afternoon, now we're talking about those traditional northwest to southeast scattered lake effect snows. Later is better for the morning commute. If you are an early riser and you leave at 4, 5, 6, 7 a.m., you're going to have problems. If you can push anything off later, after 9 o'clock, after 10 o'clock, I think you'll find the road crews are going to be able to catch up and we're going to be good to go. This is going to be point-to-point specific. What you get may not be what is happening 5 and 10 minutes down the road. So you're really going to have to check in to make sure the roads on your path are clear, because even though it may not be so bad where you are going, it could be very interesting. And we're going to have a lot of blowing and drifting. We're expecting very blustery conditions tomorrow. Not only is that going to cause the blowing and drifting problems with the snow, but that's also going to drop our wind chills down into the teens. Here is an hour-by-hour look at how this all unfolds. Midnight, here comes that snow band. It's going to start to settle down over Lake Erie and pick up that intensity. So by about 3 a.m., we should have some pretty intense snow that is falling out by the Menor area, out into central Ashtabula County. Still not a whole lot going on west, but that changes by the time we hit 4 and 5 a.m. That very heavy band spreads the entire lakeshore area, basically all of I-90 in northern Ohio, with snow, and then begins sinking south very slowly. We're talking 1 to 2 inch per hour snow rates. So if this thing is hanging over you for 2 and 3 hours, now you're talking about a couple inches of snow, upwards of 4 to 6 inches of snow possible. The higher terrain areas east will have the better chance for fluffier snow. That's why we get those bigger snow amounts. But west, we should get a pretty good coating too. 6 a.m., road crews still trying to catch up with that big band that dropped in, so we're still expecting problems at 6 a.m. Finally, by the time we hit 7 and 8 a.m., we should start to see that breaking up, because that band will be moving in away from the lake, away from its energy source, the heat and the moisture in Lake Erie. And the winds are going to start to change. That northwest wind that I mentioned coming in off of Lake Michigan and Lake Superior, that should start to open up our more traditional lake effect snows back into the primary snowbelt areas, where we're expecting those snow showers just to continue through the day. It is going to be an interesting one. And even where we don't have that snow coming down, we have frigid temperatures through the day tomorrow. Wind chills will stay in the teens just about all day long. So make sure you leave early, and if you can, leave late. That might be even better for folks. But it is all just coming together now. As a matter of fact, our Bree Buckley is outside live right now in the Menor area. And Bree, I know there's just been some lazy flakes kind of flying around every now and then, but we are anticipating more of this snow to come in overnight.
The flakes, I can't talk, I'm already cold. The flakes are lazy, yes, Betsy, but it is windy, it is cold. My hood might be a little aggressive, but I'm telling you it's cold out here. Let's talk about the drive out here. We left downtown. I-90 wasn't too bad leaving downtown. Got to about the Willoughby area. That's where you started to see some of that snow accumulation in the berms, like you mentioned. And then now out here in Mentor, you can see a bit of it blowing. I know it doesn't show up as well on the camera, but it's hitting me in the face here. If you look out to the highway here, some of it also accumulating. Again, roads completely fine. So far, we have seen ODOT crews as we were out driving around. Now, earlier, we spoke to ODOT and a local plow company about how they're preparing for the first big snow of the season. Typically, ODOT would pre-treat roads, but Sundays rain threw a wrench in that plan. Take a listen.
These conditions are when we get the heavy lake effect snow bands coming in. It does make it tricky in the fact that we have to suspend salt, and then when do we have to come back with a repeat visit to get the customer in the door safely first thing in the morning.
This is a big storm to be our first storm of the year, so everyone's going to knock the rust off really quick. We've got plenty of salt. All our domes are pretty much full. We've had over 200 trucks out since last night. We're working 12-hour shifts around the clock as long as the storm presents itself.
So another reminder from ODOT, give yourself extra time, whether that's leaving early or, like Betsy said, leaving later if you can. Also, if you do pass a plow on the road, make sure to give them extra room. They say that last year, 25 plow drivers were struck. That's across the state. I know it's a reminder we say every year, but apparently it's still happening. So they're hoping to get that number down this year. Betsy?
Yeah, most certainly something to keep in mind, and definitely check your route before you head out. That's always a good little saying as well. Bree Buckley, go get warm, girlfriend. Thank you so much for that live report. We'll have more to come on that coming up in just a little bit. Back to you, Russ.
All right, Betsy.